What's going on, guys? Welcome to the third and final installment of Fight Your Rivals 2013 Footsies Awards. And we are ready to talk about our favorite thing yet.
Video games, guys. Video games. We wouldn't have started this show if it wasn't for fighting games. So we might as well just go over video games as a whole.
Why not? Yeah. And this was a stellar year in gaming in every possible way, from handheld games to AAA games. We got 2 new consoles.
Yes.
A lot of crazy shit happened.
Yeah.
So we're going to start small. We're going to talk about our favorite handheld games of the year.
Okay. I would easily have to say my best handheld game of the year, and the guys, I don't want to hear it, this does count, is the iOS version of Injustice Gods Among Us. I played it just as much as I played the fighting game of the year. And Injustice Gods Among Us. If you guys didn't see that episode,
watch it now.
Watch it now. But yeah, the game coincides with the console release as well. You unlock extra titles and backgrounds, meaningless crap, but it's crap that I needed in my life, so I couldn't stop playing that Injustice game. And NetherRealm Studios did a good job, showing it love. They kept constantly upgrading it throughout the year. Now we have like almost weekly challenges to unlock free cards and stuff like that. So they kept a lot of life, a lot of variety in the mobile game, especially a free mobile game. Like, I didn't expect that much from something that was free.
Yeah, you get a lot of stuff for no money, and the connectivity to the actual game is awesome. So huge shout out to NetherRealm for putting out a great companion app that they didn't have to put out.
Yeah.
And it just worked awesome. My favorite handheld game of the year was The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds for Nintendo 3DS. I haven't gotten super into a Zelda game in a really long time, but A Link to the Past for the Super Nintendo was my favorite. So to finally get a real sequel to that game, in that classic top-down 2D format, was just really awesome. And as nostalgic as the game is, it's also super innovative because it's got a new mechanic where you can merge with the walls, explore the dungeons in a whole new way. So it's just a really fun game. It everything just feels good right away. There's nothing really. It's Zelda. It's classic 2D Zelda, but there's a lot of nice touches that make it modern and just make it a lot of fun. So definitely have to give it up to Zelda for handheld game of the year.
So with at least 4 home consoles out right now, and a slew of portable devices, everyone's competing for graphics. Everyone. I mean, most people either care about story, gameplay, or graphics. This time we're talking about the best graphics of the year. So, Mike, what do you think was the best looking game you saw this whole year?
There were a lot of gorgeous games, especially even on current gen. This is the year that developers really pushed the hardware. But I do want to give next gen some love and say that Killer Instinct is one of the prettiest games I've seen in a very long time. The overall aesthetic is great. It's a very bright, very colorful game. And I love the particle effects, the way every time you throw a fireball, sparks fly everywhere. And, next gen is only going to get better, but Killer Instinct is a nice taste of what next gen can do graphically.
Definitely, it's one of the launch titles. It's a launch title. You don't expect much from launch titles, just to show a little bit. But the little bit that Killer Instinct did show just made me very happy for all the games that are going to be coming out in the years to come. I could just imagine what I'm going to be looking at 2 years from now.
You won't be looking at it, you'll be in it.
That's true. Yeah. So hopefully I get good at the game because I don't want to die in the game.
I hope you don't. I can't. How am I going to do this alone?
I know. Well, we might have to get Lobo back for that one.
We can.
But with Killer Instinct being beautiful and particle effects are gorgeous and the rain and thunder stages out of this world, my best graphic game of the year actually has to go to PlayStation 3's The Last of Us.
Yes.
Naughty Dog, I love you. I loved you ever since Crash Bandicoot, and then you gave me Uncharted, and now you gave me Last of Us. What an incredible game. I mean, there's a lot of games out there that are graphically gorgeous, but this was a lengthy game. It was really long, and for the game to be that pretty the entire time was very impressive. Very impressive. I mean, Beyond Two Souls is gorgeous as well, but the gameplay of The Last of Us was, I think, a lot more in depth, and it was a lengthier title, so it definitely trumped Beyond Two Souls because of that. I don't want to forget about that game. That game was gorgeous too, but definitely The Last of Us. incredible.
Yeah, shout out to Sony. That even with all these next gen consoles out, part of me still wants to buy a PS3 just for games like The Last of Us, because there's still such incredible stuff coming out. So while graphics is really important for a lot of people, you know, some people will only play a game if it's absolutely gorgeous. A lot of us care just as much if we can play with other people.
Definitely. I mean, I don't really have that many friends to play with
You got me.
online. Exactly. That many friends, like you're here right now. But for the people who have tons of friends or love to play with strangers and curse them out and be safe behind the walls of your television, you got the best multiplayer. So, of course, we're going to talk about which game had the best multiplayer of the year.
Yep. And there are a lot of good offerings, but my personal favorite was Splinter Cell Blacklist. And the reason that game really stood out to me multiplayer-wise is it brought back the classic Spies vs. Mercs multiplayer from Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow. If you guys aren't familiar with the franchise, it's, you know, Splinter Cell is a single-player spy game, but the Spies vs. Mercs multiplayer is really interesting because you have one team sneaking around, the other team, you know, walking around with assault rifles trying to kill the spies. So it adds a lot of strategy. They added a lot of new modes just for Blacklist that really put a cool spin on Spies vs. Mercs. There's even a team deathmatch if you just want really sloppy action. But the game's a lot of fun, and the multiplayer ties in very seamlessly with the single player. You could jump into multiplayer right from your single player little handheld map, which is nice. And all the money you earn can go towards upgrading your single player character. So it's very cohesive and it's very strategic and just a lot of fun. So shout outs to Splinter Cell Blacklist for having really great multiplayer.
Awesome. I mean, my best multiplayer of the year obviously has to go to Grand Theft Auto 5. Lies, joking. It was a complete failure. No. My best multiplayer of the year actually goes to the best fighting game of the year, which is Injustice: Gods Among Us.
Yeah.
If I am going to play with strangers, I like it on a one-on-one basis. I don't like to play with a group, only one solo. I like to play with my food. And I have to say, the netcode was incredible. The challenges that they had daily were fantastic. It forced you to play with some characters you possibly never would have tried before. King of the Hill was awesome. Betting on matches, you know, they got that whole FGC feel to it. We all love to bet or make investments. And now you can make some investments in Injustice that won't get your legs broken. So, unless you get your legs broken in the game. So, definitely, best multiplayer of the year for me goes to Injustice: Gods Among Us.
Hell yeah. And like we said before, we're still playing Injustice. And half of that is because the game's that good, and half of that is because the netcode's actually pretty decent.
Yeah, at some point.
And I'm still finding new things, learning new combos, learning new tactics. So that game's going to live on forever. Definitely something we're going to be playing for a long time.
With all the games that are out there, especially single-player titles, you always play with a main character. So someone that's on your adventure, someone that you meet along your adventure that you really relate to, or you think is awesome, or you want to sleep with them, and you don't know why. It's a computer character, but
it's usually the case for me.
Yeah, so it's all good. I don't judge. So this next category is Best Character of the Year.
And this is really tough because we made a lot of virtual friends this year that we became very attached to, sometimes in ways more creepy than others. But my personal favorite character of the year, and I'm sure a lot of people are with me on this, is Elizabeth from Bioshock Infinite. And she's just a great companion. You know, aesthetically, she reminds me of a Disney princess with a little bit more maturity. And you know, I don't want to, for people that haven't played Bioshock, I don't want to tell you too much about, you know, who she really is, but it's really great having her as your sidekick. Not only because she's actually useful in combat, she's fighting, I don't know where, but she's fighting ammo and vigors, and she's just throwing them at you. And, you know, she can create tears in the universe that let you attack your enemies in different ways. But it's just really, it's Bioshock Infinite, so much of that game is just learning about her and learning her connection to Booker, your character. And she caught my attention right away, and I always remained invested in protecting her and in her story. So Elizabeth is hands down my favorite character of the year.
My favorite character of the year is also a female, and it's Jody from Beyond Two Souls. Played by Ellen Page. Looks like Ellen Page, sounds like Ellen Page, because it is Ellen Page, but the character's name is Jody. Please don't forget that. Game was incredible. Quantic Dreams, the guys who brought you Heavy Rain, bringing you Beyond Two Souls. If you played Heavy Rain, you know what you're getting yourself into with Beyond Two Souls. Without ruining too much of her story, too, because she's also a mysterious girl. She has a spirit that follows around called Aiden that protects her and helps her possess people and do all these amazing things and blow up cars and actually help a homeless woman give birth in a empty apartment.
It takes a special kind of girl to do that.
Yeah, so yeah, I definitely have to say Beyond Two Souls, Jody, you are... you went through a lot of crap, and I'm glad I was there to actually either have you succeed or fail at it. But yeah, Jody from Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah, so
Best character of the year.
shout out to Ellen Page for taking a break from X-Men.
Mhm.
You know, creating one of the more memorable PS3 games.
Yes.
And obviously, this brings us to our conclusion. You have all these great characters, you mash them all together, and the end result is you have some of the greatest games of all time.
Yes, of all time. So this category is obviously
Game of the Year.
Game of the Year for 2013. So Mike, I want you to go first because I'm curious to see what was your Game of the Year of 2013.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to start with the runner-up actually, because
Okay.
this does really deserve mention. My runner-up Game of the Year is DMC Devil May Cry.
Yes.
And it almost feels like it came out last year because it's been out since January, so it's easy to forget about with all the huge releases that came out. But you know, Devil May Cry, if you guys don't know, rebooted the entire Devil May Cry franchise. We have a new Dante, much more younger, dark-haired, very punk-looking. You know, a whole new aesthetic. Still has a lot of the classic DMC characters, but it retells the story in its own way. And you know, Devil May Cry is just one of the best action games I played this year, hands down. Had some of the best combat. If I just want to purely have fun, Devil May Cry is still one of the games I go to this day. So that's definitely a very solid runner-up for Game of the Year, personally.
Shout outs to Ninja Theory. You guys are great. They're the ones who did Enslaved Odyssey to the West. They're the ones who gave us DMC. Great American spinoff, you know, compared to the Japanese version. Like Mike said, completely rebooted the franchise. And after I finished playing that game, I actually ended up liking the newer Dante as opposed to the older one.
I have to agree.
And the fighting mechanics are solid, guys. It's on par with like Batman Arkham City and Origins. And what's really cool, it's so goddamn good. You know, the FGC was pushing out combo videos on YouTube. Combo videos for a non-fighting game?
Yeah. So it's that fun, it's that open-ended, it's that awesome. Devil May Cry, definitely a solid contender for Game of the Year. So Natal, what was your favorite?
So for Game of the Year, it's kind of tied between two titles. But, you know, really thinking about it, really figuring it out, who really deserved it, you have to definitely go to Naughty Dog's The Last of Us. Like I said before, the game, some of the best graphics, best story, one of the most crazy, just as many crazy moments as Beyond Two Souls. I did things in that game I didn't think I would ever do. Very rarely I get emotional over a game, whether it's happiness, sadness, anger. I mean, really I get emotional over life in general. I'm just very,
It's true.
whatever, it's life, get over it. So for me to be there, sitting there like, what? Nah, what? Exactly. That definitely meant that the game was incredible. I had so many crazy faces. I was looking like Jim Carrey in my living room when I was playing it. But yeah, The Last of Us is definitely the best game I played this year, and I hope it's not the last we see of The Last of Us.
Definitely not. Definitely hope it's not the last of them.
So what I did there?
Yeah, that was good. I liked it. And my pick for overall Game of the Year is, you know, obviously the other game that's getting all the Game of the Year praise that isn't The Last of Us, and obviously that's Bioshock Infinite.
Yes.
And, you know, Bioshock Infinite it combines gameplay and story in such a great way. It's a really fun shooter. You get great powers. It's really satisfying to fly around on the game's skyhooks, jump off it, take someone down, light someone on fire with your vigors, and just one of the best stories in video games of the year. It paints an awesome picture of early 1900s America, and it deals with racism. It deals with a lot of serious issues while still being its own self-contained story. And the twist at the end of that game is a twist that I'm still thinking about and still talking about with my friends to this day. And when a game really makes me think, that's when it really becomes one of my favorite games of all time. So Bioshock Infinite is easily my game of the year, and I can't wait to play it all over again.
Yeah, they actually added extra DLC, back in Rapture from the first Bioshock. Definitely plays just as good as Bioshock Infinite as a whole. And I do agree, Bioshock Infinite was incredible. I mean, yes, that was definitely one of those other games that actually got some emotion out of me, especially towards the end.
That's hard. I can't get emotion out of you.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I thought once I played the first Bioshock, I was like, I'm not going to play anything that's going to be this good or this, incredible. And then when Infinite came out, I was like, wow, you guys did it again. It's very hard for lightning to strike twice.
Yeah.
So for a company to do that, I was very impressed.
Yeah, props to Ken Levine and Irrational for completely reinventing Bioshock and still making it work. And so there you have it.
There you go, people. That's it. There's your wrap-up of 2013 from any form of entertainment of comics and video games. Movies are good too, but we didn't decide to do that this year.
We'll get around to it.
Yeah, maybe next year. There's tons of comic book movies coming out next year, so we'll have definitely a lot to say.
Absolutely. And you guys have heard everything we love this year from comics and games, so we definitely want to hear what you guys thought.
Yes.
So definitely leave us a comment, tweet at us, Facebook us, and let us know what were your favorite games, what were your favorite comics. What was your favorite time Spider-Man punched somebody? We want to know.
And that's pretty much it for 2013. We will see you guys next year, 2014. We will continue giving you what we give you best, all the fighting game news, and also other other gaming news that's out there, and comic books. We'll definitely let you know what you guys should be reading when you're on the train or you can't get to an outlet to plug your console in.
Yes, we got all that covered for you, and it's gonna be a very exciting 2014. Definitely hope you guys enjoy your holidays.
Yes.
Play lots of video games, read lots of comic books,
Yep.
eat lots of food. And with that, this is Mike from Fight Your Rival.
And this is Natal from Fight Your Rival.
And remember, guys,
Keep fighting.
keep fighting.